have your packets ready to go. We are in week 2 of the facial features, 5 in 5 minutes. Here's my packet. You can have a packet too. Just let me know in the comment section. Last week we did the luscious lips. It was about 5 minutes exactly for each lips. And today we're doing noses. So switch to your noses page. We're gonna do the 3, oh my gosh, my packet is a hot mess. Welcome to my life. These are the eyes. Oh my gosh, I need to find the other noses. Where are they? Oh, well, you're taking a sneak peek at the whole packet. Oh my gosh, seriously. Oh, we're doing hair, face shapes. Where's my, oh my gosh, I lost my noses. I gotta get those. All right, I got my, I have to go reprint one. Oh my gosh. So again, we're doing this because we're working on establishing a fun period of time every day where we're working on our daily art practice. These loose leaves, I am working in this exact PDF, but just so you know, so next week you're not like, wait, I wish I had one of those. I'm gonna get one of these dedicated to this series. Like these are all my whimsical women of the world drawings, and I keep them in these portfolios. And so, as well as other art, so I'm gonna actually get one of these dedicated to this, and I'm just gonna put them in these nice sleeves every week. And then that way too, I just like working on, oh hello eyeball, I like working on loose leaf paper, speaking of noses, and so this way I know that they're kind of safe and protected. So I'll link to these for you as well. And yeah, you could also use like a regular binder and just put them in some of these sleeves, or no sleeves, just have them in a binder, or just staple them together, whatever gets the job done, you know what I'm saying? All right, last week, again, we did the 5 lips for about 5 minutes each. I feel like the noses are gonna be faster. I'm not trying to go for super speed. The whole point is to just be able to practice and showing you that you don't have to practice a million hours a day to get better. You just need to practice a little bit, and just, you know, the importance of carving some time out for yourself. For goodness sakes, you're worth it, so do it. All right, I'm putting on my timer clock. Where's this? I just like to keep track so I know, you know, how long does this take? So I have my Blackwing pencil, which is equivalent of a 4B. I talked about my pencils yesterday. You just grab a soft pencil, it's fine. You can even just use a school pencil. Just grab a pencil that's close to you. I will have just a couple specialty erasers. The Vanish eraser I like because it's really soft. And then here is a mono eraser by Tombow, which is like teeny weeny tiny. But the Blackwing pencil is really cool because it has this neat kind of square eraser, so it's great for lines. But then again, like, don't feel bad if you don't have these, because a little mechanical eraser is very tiny and will do the trick too, so don't even worry about it. Okay, so remember from last week, and if you didn't remember from last week, I'm going to tell you right now again, we are going to attack everything in 3 stages, and I'm going to always write it down. Number 1, we have shape. Okay, so the first thing you do is just draw the overall shape. Number 2, we have value. What is value? It's your light and dark. It's also the reason why I'm only printing these in black and white photos, because we're working in graphite, we can only get grays. So let's have a reference be in grays, because it makes seeing your value, the light or how dark something is, super easy. It's hard to translate a color into something black and white in your brain. So if I'm working in black and white, I always make sure my reference is in black and white as well. Look how really wonky her eyes look. They look really asymmetrical. Okay, so look at how different these noses are. So I did this very much on purpose to show you, like, look at the possibility. These are all women. Look how their face shapes are very different. So, okay, so we had shape. We're going to draw the shape first. The shape usually takes me the longest. So if it takes you the longest, no worries, you're in good company. Value is like, I usually use the side of the lead of my pencil to scribble in some quote unquote color or some value. And then, oh, I also need a blending stump. And then, because that's how you blend out your scratchy drawings. Lines. If you don't have a blending stump, you can use your finger or you can use a Q-tip. And then the third are the details. So are there any like highlights? Like this one has a lot of highlights. So I'm going to be like carving that out probably with my eraser. Okay? And that's it. So here we go. I'm starting my timer off to the side. So the first thing is shape. So let's see, I'm gonna kind of analyze this here a little bit. So there's kind of like the ball of the nose. Oh, my phone has to be on because I have to take my son to school, and I told him to text me because I was filming. So I'm so sorry my phone is going off, so rude, but I am a mom. Okay, so we kind of have these two nostrils on either side. We have this kind of ball in the middle, and then it kind of goes up like this. Oh, those notifications might have to turn my phone off. Okay, all right. Let's see. Shape. We're still drawing here. I really have to like write that down because I get sidetracked. Okay, so we have, let's outline this a little bit. No, okay. Realism, like we're not going for crazy realism. We're going for practice and fun. So normal nose isn't gonna have a hard line like that, but whatever. I'm just practicing. Getting in the drawing mood. And you know what's weird? Again, when I want to put down like a little bit of color value. Value is the word color, but for black and white. I always go to the side of my pencil because you can make a lot of marks very quickly. There shouldn't be a hard line, but like whatever. We're just having some practice fun. And the first one's always the worst because you're kind of like warming up. Now, this is putting down a lot more value than I need. So we're kind of onto value. And I'm having a lot more drama in my drawing than there is actually on the face. So here, you know what I'll do is I'll make the like skin color kind of come out a little bit more. And notice how I'm holding my blending stump too. It's really on its side. And this is the darkest. Can't you see? If you squint your eyes and really see like this here is the darkest, then I'm gonna switch the way I'm holding my blending stump, because if I go up and down, I can kind of like get a little bit more pressure. And when I do this, it's more of like a broad stroke. And there's actually like there's a shadow under the nose. There's pretty much always shadows under the nose. So I'm kind of doing the area under as well. It kind of all puts it into context. Kind of working my way around. I haven't put the like actual nostril holes in yet. Oh, if my head has been in the way, I swear to God, I get so mad at myself if I'm watching back the footage. Like, my head is in the way. No. Sometimes I do this just to get some like context going. All right, so now we need to get these nostrils. I don't even have the nostrils drawn in. They're like here. And here, you can barely see them. And technically this, this line kind of disappears because so this is where the details come in. So I'm taking my little eraser and I'm kind of like carving out. Like this line doesn't exist, get rid of that. And this as well. And then alongside here. And sometimes it looks funny, like it's gonna look funny now because I'm erasing all the way back to the white of the paper. And so it's like, whoa, that's like a stark contrast. But hang on. Now this too, this ball of the nose is really light. So I'm gonna erase my graphite out from there. Kind of the same thing where it's like, no, there's a highlight over the whole top there. And now we're going to use our blending stump to fine tune. So we're going to have, this transition is a little rough. So I'm going to add back in a little, you can even kind of, mine is too narrow. I'm just noticing, but whatever. So again, we're going to put this dark spot back in. There's dark here, so I'm going to try to represent that here. This isn't quite so bright. This comes here. I thought the nose was going to be quicker than the eyes. I think they're going to be about the same. Okay. So mine doesn't really look all as good as the I think because the scale is a little bit different. Sometimes I pounce my eraser just to lift, you know, the spots that I want to lift, and then that kind of like that. So, all right, so my first one's always the roughest because I'm just kind of getting warmed up. So I'm gonna stop my clock. So, but just about 5 minutes again. And so just to take note, let's see, sometimes it's nice to zoom out. So like these hard lines are a little way too much. Like this should kind of disappear a little bit. So then it's really important to zoom out and like take an assessment so you can kind of, when you're really zoomed up closely to something, you kind of lose perspective on what it looks like as an overall whole. So I like zoom out and look and be like, I did not capture the shape very well. Like this is a larger circle and mine is more of a smaller circle. So that goes back to the shape is not quite correct. The value, again, like I made this too long. It should actually be end shorter, like here, but that's all right. And then the details, like the nostrils and the lines, like I gave myself like a, you know, like a B minus. So not my best, but it was good practice. It got me warmed up. It got me reminded of like the overall shape of noses, how you have this, right? And then the nostrils on the other side, just like the first one's just a warm up. This is our practice sheet, so it's fine. I'm not beating myself up, and I'm only giving myself, again, about 5 minutes for each one. So you do the best you can. All right, let's go on to the next one. So this is a very different shape because there's no like inner, it's like kind of straight the whole way. So we're gonna start, I'm not even gonna start with a ball. I'm gonna start, my eye is kind of looking at like this shape. And like I said, I usually spend the most time drawing the shape because that's the part that makes me maddest the most if I don't get it right, more so than other things. Yeah, so this is a very different shape. And under here, it's like super dark. So I'm actually gonna just lay that in right now because I'm paying attention to that area. This goes up. Again, this goes up here, and then that's all the hard lines I'm gonna draw. And then we're right on to the value, step 2. So there isn't this bending shape that a lot of noses have. This is very kind of straight up the sides, and then we go to the eyelid over there. Okay, now I'm going to use my blending stump to smear that out. I don't want that line across the middle. Ahead of schedule. It's only been a minute. All right, you guys drawing along with me? I hope that you are. So I'm going to feel like a fool. All right. And let me know in the comment section too, like if this is helpful for you or you would rather just have me not do this in real time and I can do it, we can do it time-lapsed. It's actually more editing involved when things are time-lapsed versus real time. The irony. All right, so it's really like creating the highlight down the middle. That's the most challenging part. It's just a lot of scrumbling here. What would we do without our blending stumps? I guess I would just be having a lot of Q-tips. All right. So this area, I'm just gonna shape the shading part. So it's like, because the shade here is like its own shape. So if I'm trying to match it up, it's so precise, you know? And then we can, like that is really dark here. That shading is really like black line. And sometimes it feels really weird because you're like, what am I even drawing right now? But as I always like to say, it doesn't matter if you understand it, it just matters that you can draw it. So yeah. So this is just weird. You can't barely tell where the shadow is versus where the nose is. It's almost one and the same. It's kind of like phrase out here. There's a tiny, and this is where I'm going to grab my mono. There's like a tiny reflection here. So I'm going to carve out. I can't even see, sorry, I had to put my head in the way. The lights, all right, I'm carving out like along here. The lights reflect on the gray of the graphite, and then I like can't see anything. And then we can lift. This is one thing I do love about drawing realistically is there's a lot of like, you can carve with your eraser a lot of times. You're like drawing with your eraser. Yeah, and then this just goes like this on either side. All right, how does that look? I don't know. Good enough? Good enough's also my favorite saying. Just lift a tiny bit on this side. How are we doing? Did we do it? Oh, Lordy. I'm getting really nitpicky, but that's because I have 5 seconds left. All right, ready? And stop. That was 5 minutes. Okay. So then we assess, reassess, and look and be like, oh, I did not nail. You know what could be more pronounced is the shadow down the center. So this is why it's really important to look at your work and to zoom out because you'd be surprised. So see, this reminds me of a horse nose. I'm not saying that in a mean way at all. I'm saying I see this shape. It's almost like a diamond shape that I'm just noticing now. It goes like, there's like a ball at the bottom and then it comes out and then it comes in. Like, you know how the horses have the kind of diamond shape on them? She kind of has something a little bit similar. That's too, pounce it out. That was too like much, but that's something I didn't notice until I zoomed out. So if you haven't kind of caught on to this trend yet, drawing is really so much more the art of seeing than it is about drawing. Isn't that weird? But you can really feel that in exercises like this. You're like, oh yeah, it's all a matter of trying to see things correctly. And like all the little values and subtleties. Yeah, it's not easy. All right, so good enough, not perfect, but I'm moving on. I can't get black because my pencil is only gray, but that's what would be there. Okie dokie. And again, I keep looking at it, I'm like, this looks nothing like that. But again, I'm trying not to futz too much, but I want to, just so you know. I want to sit here and go and make it perfect, but we're just doing this for fun, blah, blah, blah. Move on with your life. Okay, next one. Let's check out this one. Holy crazy. So now this is a whole different ball game. So I'm going to draw this ball of her nose down here. And then I'm kind of seeing like this and this here. This is very different than the other ones. So with her nostrils, let's see. Her nostrils are here. And then this comes down, and then it's like gonna have this one now. Just realized I don't even know if my mic is on. If my mic is not on, I'm going to cry. Oh, it is. Whew. Okay. And yeah, so then we have these. There's like this thickness to the side of her nostrils. This is so hard. Stay with me. We got this one. Okay, again, if you notice all of these, the only drawing that takes place is like at the bottom, and then the rest is shading time. Oh boy, and her skin is super light. So I can't have all these extraneous little pieces. That is not accurate. Okay, so I'm gonna see if my blending stump isn't actually dirty enough to, it might be dirty enough to do this. Make sure the nostrils are the right shape. Remember, we're doing the shape first before we do anything else. Shape. Weird. I'm looking at the distance now between the nostrils. Oh, this is 2 full minutes of just drawing these little circles. That's really pathetic. All right, we gotta get going on our value here. Step 2. Oh, see, these lines should not be so dark like that. But I needed to have something there so I would know where to go. So now I'm just using my blending stump to kind of see if I can create this nosy nose. Now it's kind of like the shadow is like around the nose. And most noses are just formed out of the shadows and not lines at all. And her skin is so light that I just have barely anything on my blending stump. Holy mosey. I sometimes like to give it a little context, like, okay, here's the mouth, is down here. Mine looks still super flat. So I'm kind of really trying to analyze like where I see the shading, and it's so hard because it's such a light skin. I think we can, all right, it's really hard. It's so hard, it's so subtle. And I feel like I'm doing such a bad job. So sometimes, again, this is where it helps to like look. It helps to look in the camera view. If you have a camera, it's really helpful to look in the lens. A lot of times that will help show you where things are. I think her nostrils are just pretty much overall too large. Let me just crop them down a little bit, but I don't think that's the problem. I think it's just a really weird angle and I'm not used to drawing it. So this should be the light. This is lighter. I feel like I'm looking into her brain. Okay, this is a little bit lighter. This is a little bit lighter. And then this is a little bit lighter here. And then I'm going to take my blending stump. This is going to be the longest one ever. You know, I'm looking at these and I'm like, there's no way that it's going to take me that long to draw these. And now I'm going to be taking the longest to draw them. This is such a challenge, this one. It's like defying all of my nose knowledge. Is it define your nose knowledge? All right, and in the comments, tell me which one is the hardest for you, because right now, I'm telling you right now, this is the hardest for me. This doesn't look anything like her nose. What am I missing? Whoop. Oh, my husband, my son just told me he's got to go. Okay, Billy Bear. All right, I'm just going to pounce this into submission. Actually, I'm so glad I have to leave right now, because I'm hoping when I get to leave and come back, I will see exactly where I have gone wrong. Because right now, this nose doesn't look very good. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong. All right, I'll see you in a flash. Look at that. But that's okay. This is really hard. All right, I hope when I come back, I will know just what to do, because right now I'm not seeing it. All right, I'll see you in a second. All right, I'm back from dropping off my son at his school, and I'm trying to now, look, it does help so much to leave and come back with fresh eyes. So I'm kind of glad this is, this is happening. And I do also have to say, it's really helpful to look in the camera lens to see what is happening. The difficulty in this piece is stemming from the fact that the values are so hard to distinguish. Like these dark areas that I've drawn don't exist in the actual photograph. So that is number one. So I love this. It's called a Vanish Eraser. I get it at Jerry's Artorama. It's in an upcoming set that I'm selling with them, but that is the cheapest place to get it. But I'm wondering if just maybe knocking back, for starters anyways, knocking back some of the harsh lines will help. My nostrils look super wonky. I'm actually going to fix them with maybe a mechanical pencil, might help. Oh, I forgot to restart my clock here. Just help like define those a little bit. Again, it's like super nitpicky, but that's why this one is so hard, is that you have to get picky and get accurate on the places in order to make it work. So this one, I noticed there's like, it's like right here. I think this might help it look less, you know, like, well, just less bad, really. This can get filled in a little bit. And then there's like a little, like a, I want to say vertical line, but, oh, and that's another thing too. This one is a little too wide. And then again, there's sort of like this area. It's just so subtle. Like it's just impossibly subtle. And that it just takes these little things being either right or not right to throw off your entire drawing. Even the bridge of the nose, you know, is like just barely illuminated. This certainly isn't there. Oh, my doggy's in here. And again, this one is probably too wide. So again, bringing it in a little bit, I think. And again, that line doesn't exist, the one that I just drew. So there's that as well. Awesome, great. But it's like I have to, like, you have to kind of, sometimes you have to put down lines so you can grasp what is happening, and then you can kind of, like almost like guidelines, and then you erase them afterwards. So I've spent almost 9 minutes on this, and I am making it my life's work, which is the exact thing I'm trying not to do with these lessons. So I'm just going to actually stop here, kind of for better or for worse, because the whole point, again, of this is to establish a daily practice, but also to move on and not be nitpicky and perfectionism and like blah, 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 blah. It's just kind of like, let's do the exercises. Let's have some fun. we can't nail it in a few minutes, I'm not gonna spend 1,000 years on this. Like, I just can't. I have things to do today. So I do think I made it a little bit better. I do think it's a really challenge because it's not everything not like a nose I've ever drawn before. So it's new. And that's just what happens when you're drawing new things, you know? It's new every time. So I have to move on. I think I just made it worse. Moving on with my life. All right, here's 2 more. Yeah, let's bang this out. Okay, shape, number 1 shape. Ooh, I love this. I might start with that. Ooh, what? I hate it already. So, it's such a cool nose nostril flare. Isn't it weird what the differences are? I think right now, or mine is so big. I think it's okay that mine's bigger, but it's a lot bigger than what theirs is. This goes down actually quite a bit, and then this kind of curls under in a cool way. Look at that, that's neat. I like your nose. And then this line kind of comes in a little bit. Oh, I really, really like this nose shape. It kind of like has folds. Zoop. Zoop. All right, so once again, the drawing portion is just so little. And then the rest is all value. So we know this is going to be kind of darker. And then here. And then I can definitely turn off my notifications now that I am back. All right, and then under here is going to be dark. If you notice too, these kind of exercises help you be like, oh my God, no matter what I do, the noses are pretty much guaranteed to have some shadow under there. Okay, awesome. Now we're on to value. It's amazing how much time you spend blending. Way too, oh well, those that have taken my hands course, it is literally nothing but shadows and highlights. The whole thing. Oh my gosh. Oh, Maggie. My cat is snuggled. She spends every day asleep in my art room on the dog bed. My dog is always like, what the heck? So I have wood floors in here, so she's like miserable on the wood floors. My cat is always taking her swat like every day. So see, I don't know if you guys are noticing this, if you're drawing along with me. You better be drawing along with me. It's so much easier when there's high contrast. I write about this in my How to Draw and Find Your Style book, which is that, like, when you're picking photo references for yourself, actually, you should definitely choose photos that, this is like a little turn-in point right there, to choose photos that are high in contrast. It's so much easier because it gives you kind of something to work with. Like this nose, the reason that this nose is so hard is that there's like so little shading, so it's hard to see. It's just hard to see what's going on. It's like plain and simple. This one is much easier. You have these areas that are, you know, nicely delineated. It should not be super highlighted there. This, again, this side is like clear path to like what is happening. And then this highlight, we need to kind of excavate. And I always kind of use my little pouncy technique, because that way it's not, if you like rub, it's just so abrupt, but if you can kind of do like a little pounce, then sometimes that works a little bit better. This is the only eraser I find that can do this very well. There's some highlights like under this part and under this part. And then we're gonna fill in here and kind of here. And so again, normally the nose, if the light source is coming from the front, there's like the center is kind of highlighted. That's pretty much like when I do my mixed media projects too. I make sure that the center part is highlighted. All right, now this, when I look in the camera, it's so funny. I can see my mistakes like really glaringly. So like this part should be bigger, but whatever. All right, 5 minutes, it was about 5:22. This one's like, and that one, it's good enough. I feel like I got that one practiced in. Now this is a great example because you have a lot of dramatic shading here. So I'm starting, I reset my clock, and so this is, ooh, I love it, love, love, love. Okay, so again, this one is different. This one, I'm gonna start off with like a, kind of like a V shape. Oh, it's weird. It's a weird shape. Kind of just drawing the nostrils. And then this one has, oh, yeah, sorry. Just kidding. It's like you can see, this one you can only see this shape change, and then this one you actually see the nostril. Weird. Okay, now I'm gonna go right to value, which is, this is gonna be a fun one because the light source is really strongly coming from the left, which means we get to have a lot of drama going on. And I love me some shading drama. It's kind of like that. Woohoo! And this comes down. And then there is a little bit on that side, but I think I can use my dirty blending stuff to kind of make it happen. So yes, finally, some good old-fashioned shading drama, my favorite. And a nice shape, a nice fun shape. You know, I've never done a little like many noses in a row before, and I don't think I realized how many nose shapes there really are. It's quite a lot, huh? Girl, I like this girl's nose. It's a weird thing to like, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, see, but now my shading is way out. I mean, that is not, doesn't look as, that's like crazy shading. It's very subtle on that side. So again, I kind of pounce it away. Although this side can be nice and dramatic, but not the other side. Dog is so sad. She's like, I just want to sit on my bag. Mean cats. It's so funny how cats always have the upper hand. Or dogs. You can never win. All right. Ooh, this one is the most fun. I'm glad it was last. All right, so next week we're doing, what are we doing? Oh, we're doing the eyes. Yes, everybody's favorites. So make sure you subscribe. Let me know which was your favorite nose and which was your least favorite nose. I'm kind of dying to know if you're on the same page as me. And next week we'll do the eyes. Let me know in the comments if you want the practice packet so you can draw along. It's way more fun when a lot of us play together. All right, look, this was my fastest. It's only been 3 minutes. See, get better, practice. It's a powerful, powerful mechanism. So I'm getting faster. I actually already feel more confident. And we learned a lesson about how, there's That's a really cool highlight right there. More contrast, done. 3 minutes, 43 seconds. And that one's my best one so far. And it was the fastest. Now, I don't think there's any coincidence. It was also the last one I did. So that is such a great example of like why practice is so beneficial. Because by the time I got to my last one, that was the one where I did the best job. But I'm properly warmed up. We went through all these things and just the practice of noticing the lights and the darks and the repetition and having a super hard one that still just looks like a mess. And I can start picking out like, oh, which one what would I do better there? What would I do differently? Also helps me knowing when I'm drawing faces in my other projects, like from scratch, like look at all the different variations there are. Like try one with different shapes, right? Every shape was totally different. You have the light sources are different. So much I have already learned today. And I'll see you next week where we're gonna do our eyes. I hope you will meet me here. I will see you, in the next video. And here's a link to the playlist so that you can get back to this exact, all the videos in this series soon. Have a great week.